Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard Gene, the fishing machine here. We're here at Wally World, Walmart. Now, the reason why I'm here this morning is because I've been getting a lot of requests talking about tube jigs for crappie. Have I ever used them? Are they effective? All kinds of questions about them. Now, I'm going to tell you, I had a lot of tube jigs, but I give away a lot of tackle probably about 3 months ago. And in it, which I didn't know was all my tube jigs, so I'm going to have to come to the world famous Walmart, also known as Wally World, and get me some tube jigs so we can go crappie fishing. Now, last night it rained like crazy. Now it's an overcast day. Nippy, probably about 53 degrees. Perfect time to get up under a bridge and go crappie fishing. In fact, it's probably going to rain today. But let's go in here and see if we can find us some tube jigs. Sue Bob, quit running from me. Come put stuff in this bucket right here. This is a big bucket. Yeah, but yeah, let's use my bucket. Plenty of room in it. You don't need that bun, you just need this one. Look here, folks. Yeah, these are good ones right here. This is actually a kit made by Cream. And Cream's been around a long time. Matter of fact, they invented the first plastic worm, I think, or started manufacturing. And I remember those plastic worms for bass. But there's all kinds of different colors. Here's some, I'm going to get a couple packs of these right here. Let's see how much they are. Oh, $8.34. Now, I imagine, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 10, so that's probably 90 baits or more in one of these. That's a pretty good deal right there. And up here, as far as the hooks goes, I see some 1/16 of an ounce. And it looks like some 1/32 of an ounce jig heads that comes with it. And yeah, I'm going to get 2 because there's even different colors over here in this one too. A lot of different colors right here. So, yeah, tube jigs. This is a very productive bait when it comes to crappie fishing. And back in the 90s and early 2000s, that's about all I used there for a long time. So let's go home, we'll rig a couple up and we'll go fishing. The tube bait, very productive lures, let me tell you what. And I'm going to show you a little bit about them, and we'll talk about how to work them to catch crappie. But the first thing I want to say is, you know, in this kit right here, you know, there's some interesting little things right here. They have 2 different sizes of jig heads. Let me just get straight to the point. There's a 1/32 and a 1/16 of an ounce jig head in here. And for the depth of water I'm going to be fishing here in just a little bit, I'm going to prefer, and I always lean towards the 1/32 of an ounce if I can fish it. I feel like a 1/16 of an ounce is more for deep water, and I used to use a 1/16 a whole lot back when I fished deeper for crappie, which I need to do that. This is an appropriate time of the year for that. But with using light line, like anywhere from 2 to 4 pound test line, I have over the years leaned towards the 1/32 of an ounce. That's my favorite size for crappie, period. When it comes to crappie, I like to fish with the lightest jig head I possibly can. For the depth of water I'm focusing on catching the crappie, or where the crappie are. And usually a 1/32 of an ounce will get the job done. Now, back in the old days, we didn't have the type of fish formula and attractant that we do this day and time. We're more modernized now, and it's remarkable how good attractants are now compared to used to. The used to brands I'm referring to are the type that you spray onto your bait, and after a cast or two it's gone. But the type that they make now, like this thump gel, this is an excellent attractant. It stays on a bait. I mean, it's not like the old type, like I just mentioned. After you squirt it onto the bait, 2 or 3 casts, it'll come off. This stuff actually bonds to the bait. So, what you can do to make it easy to insert a head like this into a tube is just simply take you some of this thump gel or a gel type, whatever attractant you like, and put it on the head, okay, of that. And I'm doing it pretty thick too. What that's going to do is this, and I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to be able to rig this with ease. I'm going to be, now remember, this is, I'm mashing it together right there. This tube is hollow, so we're going to stick it right through there, and look how easy it just pushes in there, really easy, real easy. Okay, and comes out like that right there, and there it is. There it is. Now the advantage of this is this stuff, that this formula is so good and comes out and sticks in that cavity so well that when you make a cast, it ain't coming off. You can probably fish with this an hour without having to recharge it or more. An hour of hard fishing. So that's going to be a plus right there. Now I'm going to tell you, if you don't like ball type heads, which I don't, they make them 4 tubes. If you've never fished with a tube before, Big Bite makes them, and there's several different companies that make, I believe Eagle Claw makes them too, jig heads, especially 4 tube jigs for crappie, and that's what they look like. That's a 1/32 of an ounce, and it has a size 6 hook, which is suitable for a 2-inch bait, no doubt. Now the only thing I don't like about this particular hook that they're using, and I wish they would change this, folks, if you'll look at this hook, it is level with the top of the eyelet. So what I'm going to do, that's a bad deal, because when that crappie inhales the bait, the first thing that's going to move when you set the hook in that crappie's mouth is going to be this eyelet. And what it'll do, that'll cause that fish to open his mouth when he feels that pressure. And this hook right here generally gets them, but it don't stick them like it should. Okay, because and usually it'll get them right on the outside rim of the mouth. To improve the hookup, okay, on a conventional jig head, and I'm talking about most jig heads are that way. That's why I'm saying I wish they would completely stop that. But anyway, what you can do is take this hook and bend it up just a little bit. Now you can see it's at a slight angle, and that angle is going to tower above that eyelet. So when you set the hook now, you have immediate hook penetration, therefore improving your chances on catching that fish. But anyhow, I didn't want to make this about hooks, but I just wanted to go ahead and point that out. So, but that's a good hook if you'll do that. And I do that on all my jig hooks if the eyelet is even with the hook. Here's one already rigged up right here. Now if you notice, I've got a loop knot tied into this. Now what I'm using right here is just an Eagle Claw rod loaded with 4-pound test vicious high vis line. And that's my favorite. When it comes to crappie fishing, that's That's pretty well my favorite test line, and overall it is. But if you notice right here is a loop knot. Now when the water pressure, and the loop knot is not, see, it's not cinched to the eyelet, but when we make a cast in there, it don't matter if you're vertical jigging or casting or whatever, what you want is for the water pressure to be able to pick that jig up level just like that as you retrieve it. Okay, and it don't matter whether, and another good thing about that knot is it makes the lure look a lot more realistic, because see how it's free from the eyelet, it can pivot perfectly like that. And another thing that's really important is about a tube, and you know, write this in the book of crappie fishing. A tube does not fall. It's one of those baits that don't fall the same every time. And I catch a lot of fish, especially by casting. A lot of times I'll have to retrieve it once I find the depth, just a dead retrieve, and then kill it and let it fall. But it don't fall the same way every time. Sometimes it'll spiral, and sometimes it'll veer off to the right or the left. It does all kinds of different things on the fall, and that's why this tube jig is so effective. It is a almost forgotten bait. A lot of baits has overshadowed a tube because the fishing industry is saturated with crappie baits right now. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of them work and a lot of them's junk. A lot of them's junk. But the fact of the matter is, a tube is not junk. It is, and there's a reason why it's been hanging around all these years, because it is deadly. And there is Rocky Drake. Let's go fishing. There he is. That's simple. That fish was down in there pretty deep, folks. That's a little black crappie right there. He sort of give up when he come, but he was down there around 14 feet deep. But y'all can see what's in his mouth right there. A tube. Let's get that out right there and we'll release him. That's a small fish right there. But that's what we're talking about. That's how effective. This is a very effective bait. Let's let that fish go. That was probably about 9.5 inches. Okay, let's make another cast out there. And then what I'm doing, okay, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. That bait's down there around 14 feet deep. Let's pick it up. That's where the fish are, and there he is. It's just that simple. Once you figure out the depth, you got it. That fish come off. What about that? That fish comes straight up to the top. Let's make another cast out there. There's a school of fish out there. All right, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, let's pick her rod up. Now I'm just bringing it back real slow. Just a steady wind, that's all you have to do. Steady Eddie. There's another one. Y'all see that thump? Now this one right here is a little bit better fish than what we've been catching. Matter of fact, let's get him up here. That's a big crappie. Not no giant, but a good fish. And y'all can see, but we'll get out here where y'all can see, I want y'all to see how deep this fish took this bait in. See there? He wanted that tube, and I'm going to tell you, that's the best way, in my opinion, to rig a tube, is by inserting that head into the bait like that. But that's about an 11-inch crappie right there. See, that's what I was talking about. Those bigger fish this time of the year will mix in with those smaller fish. Okay. Boy, that's a good eating size, but I didn't bring a bucket or anything. This was just a short notice trip. Let's let him go. Let's put him back right there. There he goes. He's heading straight back out there. But now that fish wasn't 14 feet deep. That fish actually was a little bit shallower. I'm going to say probably 10 feet. Let's make another cast out there. And I'm going to tell you, this color right here, this white and chartreuse, or any of them, with even black and chartreuse, as long as it's got that chartreuse on it, folks, that's a great color when it's overcast like this. It'll stand out. I believe those fish can really see that color. And that's all I'm doing, is just reeling it back real slow. I am working the bait just a little bit. Just twitching it just a little bit. See, like right there, that's what it took to get the bite. My goodness. Come here, boy. I tell you, they're small. The majority of these fish is small, but they're biting. If nothing else, it's good practice. I've done caught several of them like this. 8 inches or so. Okay, let's let him go right there. We'll cast it back out there. But we're going to get right here so y'all can see the action that's on a tube. If you've never used these before, let me show you what you got right here. Y'all see that? See how realistic? And all I'm doing is reeling it like real slow and steady, and every once in a while I'm working it like that. Okay, and that makes it look realistic. That's all you have to do to make that bait look like a what? You're right. That one in the back on the left, a minnow. Not a minnow, but a minnow. Okay, let's get back with it. And let's catch another one. Whoa. I'm talking about, whoa. That adrenaline starting, folks. And I may not be able to contain it. Especially if I catch a big one right here. There he is. This is a little better fish right here. That's actually a pretty good sized crappie right there, folks. Come on in here, boy. That's a black crappie right there. That's two. We'll go up here and look at him. I know y'all can't see him good right here, but that's two about the same size. Pretty quick. Look at there. Ain't that a beautiful fish? I hate to keep moving out from under the bridge like that, but I want y'all to be able to see how beautiful these fish are. See how broad that fish is? They're starting to get girthy right now. And his stomach is full of shad, I guarantee you. Let's let him go right here. The mighty tube. He's confused. Watch that crappie. There he goes. Do they? There he is. Oh my. This is good crappie here. We're going to let him fight just a little bit, folks. That was a thump, no doubt about it. Come on up here. We don't want to rip his lip. I ain't big as what I thought he was, but he felt big. I'm talking to the gentleman right here that watches the channel. What's your name?
Jason.
Jason. Let's check your reel out right here. Check this reel out. Can we get out in the sun a little, or where we can see? He's into these vintage reels too, I imagine, because that's an old GV05. What is it?
Yeah, that's it. GV05.
Who makes that reel?
Olympic.
Olympic. Yeah, I remember Olympics when I was a kid.
Smooth.
They're just
For the time, it was really smooth.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy fishing with them right there. I really do. I want to see you catch one.
I'm hoping to catch one.
Yeah, well, come on over here and let's catch one. But look at that. That's a pretty nice fish right there, folks. Pretty nice one right there. Let's let him go. Let him go on back and get a little bit bigger. That's about a 10.5-inch fish. He might be a little bigger, but that's going to be close. And there he goes. They ain't nothing like it. I would have an adrenaline attack, but this fella right here might think I'm nuts, so I'm not going to do it. Those fish has actually come up in the water column. Oh, they're probably about 10 feet deep right now. They were 14, but they're coming on up in the water column. The reason why is because it's getting later in the evening. Crappie will do that. They'll rise on up oftentimes and get a little bit shallower up in the water column as evening approaches. And there he is. There's another one right there. Now this is a good one right here. Okay. Woo-wee. Now that fish has got some power. They'll fight if you'll let them, but now if you want to horse them with a heavy tackle, crappie fishing ain't fun unless you'll match the fish with the light tackle. Golly, that's a good fish right there, folks. He ain't very long, but that's the way it is here in the Tennessee River. Golly, what a girthy fish. Now look what's in his mouth. I kid you not. This is a great presentation when it comes to crappie. Good fish. There's some good ones in here. Let's let him go. Oh, I'm hooked up. Thank you. All right, going back. Now that was a girthy fish right there. That was a real healthy fish. That was a shad-eating son of a gun. Whoa! Let's catch another. I know what you're thinking, but let it go, because I have years ago. Well, folks, we made it back. That was just a quick trip using a tube, and they're very, very effective. We're going to be doing more of that because these baits, I forgot how good they really are. I didn't have any trouble catching crappie. I hit it just right. It started raining and started getting a lot more windy, so I just left. But I hit it perfect. Those fish were in there, and it was just one after another for a while. But I caught all them fish on the old rod. This is by the way, this is a 6-foot eagle claw rod, light action. It's an old rod. They don't even make them anymore. It is perfect for casting, whether it's under docks or from the bank. And just a little cadence 500 size reel, loaded with 4-pound test. Vicious monofilament, high vis monofilament. This is probably, no doubt, one of my favorite setups to fish with this time of year. But that bait right there is a killer. We'll do some vertical jigging with it. We'll skip under docks with it. We'll cast with it. It's just a bait that I'm going to get back into fishing with, folks. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of baits that I'm going to share with y'all a little at a time on this channel. I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments. Everything y'all do, well, is appreciated. Hey, man, woo. I'm going to piddle in my shed because it's raining. Woo, it's raining. My goodness, it's raining. It's cold. Hey, woo, fall is here. And remember, go fishing when you can, but call it good.